So as I said, by default, every PC as an individual PC, it is in the work group. It is in the work group. Okay. So what is this work group? PC means what? Can you see it like this? I'm a member of a work group. This is my computer. So I'm a member of work group. So that is I'm in the work group means I'm a member of work group. So you want to see very closely, then also will show you. So you have to go to the settings. The settings, system. First go to settings, then go to system, then go to about and select this, rename this PC advanced. Rename this PC advanced. So you can find here there is a change button is there. If you click it, you can see member of work group. Member of work group. It means I am belongs to this work group. Work group. Name of the work group is work group. I am belongs member of a work group, not a member of a domain. If in case I join into the domain, then I will select this domain and I will put a domain name. Okay, I'm not here. Okay, I'm not in the domain. I'm in the work group. Of course, you can see this is showing a gray color, means I cannot able to select this option. Can't able to select this option because of I'm a Windows 10. Because see, you can see Windows 10 Home Edition. Home Edition, because of Home Edition cannot be joined into the domains. You should have a Pro Edition or a Enterprise Editions. Rename this PC. Change. Can you see member of a work group? My work group name is work group. Okay. So I am unable to select a domain because of I'm a Windows 10 Home. From a Pro or Enterprise, I can join as a domain. So then I will become a member of domain. So point is, whether what are your PCs, are you member of a work group or a member of a domain? In generally, all of our computers are a work group PC. So what is the meaning of this work group? It means we don't have any centralized controller. We don't have any centralized controller. Someone will control your PCs kind of stuff is not there. Someone will control your users from one central PC is not there. So no centralized administration, no centralized controller. Every PC itself has an administrator. For example, I have my PC account. My PC, this is the username. That user is an administrator of my PC. So I will show you who is my administrator. I can go to the settings part or I can go to the controller control panel and I will show you. In any which ways you can find it. Go to user accounts, control panel, user cities, username and administrator. So my PC administrator is this user. The account is. Some take a normal, for example, this is user is Kajal and user information, password information, password Kajal password stores in this PC only. And this account is the administrator of this PC. For example, I will take Rohit, small names, that's important. So take a Rohit. Okay. So Rohit account is here. Rohit password is here. When Rohit is logged into PCB authenticate Rohit account. How? Name, password stored in BPC. He is the administrator, for example, he is the first user, automatically is the administrator. He can control this BPC. He can install applications. He can uninstall the application. He can change the settings in the BPC. For example, CPC, easy names, Suraj. Why? Here is there, Suraj is there. Okay. Suraj account C user CPC admin is Suraj. So Suraj name, Suraj password, Suraj data stored in CPC. When Suraj log into CPC, CPC will authenticate Suraj. CPC will authenticate users. Suraj can able to install an application, uninstall an application, change the settings. He can able to change the settings. He can um, manage the storages, network, process, services, the entire administration, create a local policies. Everything Suraj can able to do it in the CPC. Okay. Yeah. One more is VPN is the easiest name. I remember one name. That is VPN. Vijay. Easy name. Okay, that's just for our understanding, guys. So VPN is login to DPC. So VPN account is created in DPC, is the administrator. Password of VPN is stored in DPC. VPN can, when VPN is login to DPC, DPC will authenticate VPN user. VPN profile data stored in DPC only. So VPN can able to administrate. Same goes for Vijay in the EPC. So every user, so each and every, the PC is in a work group. In a work group PCs, they have their own user administrator. They have their own administrator. So each PC is administrate individually. One PC user cannot log into another PC. So Kajal cannot control BPC. Rohit cannot control CPC. Suraj cannot control APC. One PC cannot control another PC. One PC user cannot log into another PC user. Like a Suraj want to log into EPC, he cannot log in. Okay. So Rohit want to control CPC, he cannot do it. Suraj want to control APC, cannot do it. So Kajal want to control BPC, cannot do it. So we cannot. One PC user cannot control or log into other PCs because of these users are local users. These users are called local users. These users called local users means in the PC only these users information is stored, password is stored. Okay, that's why it is called as a local. Okay, so it is a decentralized administration, no centralized server, no centralized controller. Each individual PC has their own administrator. The admin account will control the PC like a creating policies or maybe creating a local policies, settings, installing of application, uninstalling of applications are done by the local user or a local administrator. User or local administrator. One user of a PC cannot be login to other PC, cannot control other PCs. Is another. Okay. And one or two points, guys. That is it. What it is. For example, here is a 5 PCs are there. No problem. If I have a 10 PCs are there, 5 PCs, 10 PCs. For example, can you see this is the background screen, right? I have a lot of icons in the PC, lot of data on my desktop, lot of icons in my desktop. Now there is 100 computers. Each computer I am putting a role. So in my office I have 100 computers. I said so You cannot store data on the desktop. You cannot store the data on the desktop. So desktop, you cannot put any icons or a data on the desktop. So that is a rule. Okay, that is a rule. So how to go to each and every PC, how to implement that rule. Okay, you cannot just order. So you have to automatically, it should be happen. If I want to create some data or I want to save some data on the, on, I want to save some data on the screen, it automatically reject. So what I have to do it? I have to go to each and every PC, ask a admin account, log in with admin account, and create a policy. Create a policy. Create a policy and log in. So that's like, sorry, create a policy on each PC. So you have to go to each and every PC and you have to do it. For example, you have a network. In that one we have only 4 PCs, 10 PCs, 20 PCs you can control. But you have a lot of PCs, like 100 computers, 200 computers. Each PC can go and do the setting or create a policy part. You can't do it because it's a work group. We can't control centrally. You have to go to each and every PC. So you have to do certain settings, like a firewall setting. You have to do it on 100 computers. So you have to go to 100 computers. Each computer you have to go and do the setting. You want to desktop setting, you have to go to each and every computer. You have to do the setting. Or you have to deploy some application to multiple computers. You have to go to that each and every computer and install the application. Okay, so that is another point. But in generally, work group means no centralized administration, no centralized control. Okay, no centralized administration at all. Okay, each PC have their own administrator. The administrator account or administrator can able to manage the local computer, the user information, their passwords, user data stores in the same PC. One user in a computer cannot control other computers, other PCs. They can't control, they can't log into other. Number of devices increases, number of computers are high. It's difficult to manage certain things like putting a setting on all computers or a enforce setting on all computers or maybe deploying an application to all computers part. Centralized controlling means controlling administrating is little bit difficult. Individually is individual only, but when you are in office kind of stuff, it is different. So that is about your work group. Decentralized administration, no centralized control. Every system has their own administrator. Once PC user cannot able to log into other PC. User password settings information stored in their own PCs. Can control individually, not centrally. You have to control the PCs individually, not centrally. More number of PC, no more number of systems, so then it is difficult to manage. Then it comes with work group. Sorry, that is a work group, guys. Guys, understand what is work group? Do you understand how to check are you in work group or domain?
Yes, sir.
Next part is a domain. So guys, same explanation, almost not same explanation, but little bit. So work group, 5 computers, 5 names. I took one name only here, Akash name, and I will try to explain this. So this is a domain controller. So I will explain the domain part. So look at here again. You have to draw some die. As we seen in our group, in I have a computer. I don't require any domain controller. I have a 1 or 2 computers. I don't require any domain controller until unless I have to show some practical in a particular lab kind of. So, so for my one or two computers, I do not require any domain controller, domain server kind of stuff. I don't, but I have a large number of computers. So like a 50 computers, 100 computers, 200 computers, 1,000 computers. It's difficult to maintain each computer, the user, their profiles, and then their logins. If a one computer is down, one computer is down, the current login user cannot log in, right? And he cannot log into others. For example, in this PC, again I have to check the names. Chandu. Okay, so for example, this is Chandu PC. He cannot, his PC is down. Now Chandu cannot do continue the work. But next PC is free. You want to log into this PC. No one is working. You want to log in with his your account Chandu. He cannot log in because the user information is stored here and user information is not stored here. Okay, so like that, it is a one of the thing. Next, multiple devices, number of devices increases, it's difficult to manage. Okay, so here it is. This is my domain controller, guys. This is a domain controller, means it's a server. This is my domain controller. What is a domain controller? Domain controller is nothing but a server. It's a centralized administration. Domain. So first of all, workgroup domain. What is the domain? Centralized administration. Centralized administration. Centralized control. For example, this is PC1, this is PC2, this is PC3, PC4. Okay. So as I showed, if I want to join in the domain in my computer, I have to go to system, settings, system, about, click on this, rename this PC, click change, select a domain option and give the domain name, click OK. It asks for you a domain authentication, then you can member of a domain. When you are in a domain, now it is showing in workgroup, but if I join in the domain, it shows under domain. Then what is my domain control? So I have done for a PC1, PC2, PC3, and PC4. Okay, up to PC4. Okay, so three PCs or four PCs are joined into the domain. In domain controller, I added some users. Username is like a user1, user2, user3, user4, user5, user6, user7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. The first thing is I want to log into user1. I want to log into PC1, the user1. But user1 is not created in PC1 or PC2 or PC3 or PC4. It is created in a centralized server. So user1, user2, user3. So where it is created in central PC. Where I am login in a regular desktops. So user4. So when I put a user1, what happened? I put a user1 in PC1. I put a user1 and I put a password. The request go to domain controller. Domain controller verify user account and authenticate user. Now, see guys, in a work group, individual PCs having their own account, user account password. When user log into that computer, when users log in, when user is login, the PC or laptop or desktop, or when user is login, the device will authenticate the user. Computer will, the local PC is authenticate user. But here it is not like that. User is user information and user password information stores in the central PC. The when user is log into a domain computers, okay, your domain controller will authenticate user. So user one trying to log into PC one, but request go to domain controller authenticate user one. Once it is got authenticated and as per access of PC1, then domain controller will give authorization to access PC1. Like users in the domain controller can log into any PCs in the domain. In generally, in generally, the domain computers in the domain, users in the domain controller can log into any computers in the domain. So like that, user 1 is log into PC1, user 2 PC2, user 3 PC3, user 4 PC4, user 5 PC5. Why? Because PC5 not listed under this domain. Still, it's not in my domain. It's not in my domain. It is outside of my domain. Of course, domain has a name also. Every domain has certain name. So you can say like a Latif.com. That is my domain name. Ontaso.com, Savantis.com, abcd.com. Like I put a domain name, is a domain name for my domain. And I have a domain controller which stores my domain computers and domain users information. Whenever I want to log into, whenever a user is log into a domain computer, domain controller authenticate that user. Once a user is authenticated, you'll authorize it to access that computer. Okay.
Sir,
Yeah, tell me, sir.
user one can also access PC2 na if domain assign that.
Very good. So user one is log into PC one today. Tomorrow you want to log into PC2, you can log in. Or user two want to log into PC4, you can log in. Or user one login in a morning session. So user one log into PC1 and user 5 log into PC1 in a afternoon session. Okay.
Okay,
Good.
sir.
Very good. Yeah. So you are not sleeping. Understand. Okay, good, very good, guys. That's the point. Okay. So in a work group, I can able to log into my PC only, but I cannot log into other PCs. But here the users are stored in domain controller and authenticated by domain controller. So user can able to log into any PC, any PC, any PC in the domain. User can log into any PC in the domain, but only one time only. So like one you log into one PC and you log out, you can log into another PC. Okay, the users can log into any in the domain. Okay. So that's Very good, guys. Very good. Okay, so I'm going to another point. It is controlling. Yeah, here is we have a 4 computers now. Father. Think like that. You have a 50 computers, 100 computers. You want to set up a setting in each and every computer or a certain group of computer or certain group of users. For example, firewall setting. You want to do certain firewall setting, or you want to do certain desktop related setting, or maybe a background desktop background setting, or a certain rules like a shutdown related rules, the application installation. So what I have to do it in my domain controller, I will create a group policy. I create a group policy. In this policy, I will mention what is the setting I want to do it. Is it a deployment of application, or maybe it is a applied setting, or yellow, or a not yellow kind of stuff. Okay. So I do the setting in this GP group policy. Then I enforce this setting to the users. Means I have 100 computers. If I said for everyone in the domain, means all 100 computers or 100 users will affect with the policy. That's to who will affect, who is not affect. That is, you can control it by linking the policy to domain to OU kind of stuff. That is, we'll see. But what is the group policy, guys? We can enforce a various settings like a desktop setting, network setting, security setting, application deployment, desktop related settings, folder redirection kind of settings. So we can enforce various type of settings to large number of users and computers. It means you can give the settings based on the user, based on the computer. Both are there. Okay. So this is the, so you need to go to each and every PC to make this setting. Simply create a group policy and choose the setting there and deploy the setting from there. So you will read once what are the statements. Okay. What is the domain? Centralized administration. Centralized controller. There is a centralized controller called a domain controller. What is a domain controller? Is a server. Domain administrator is a admin for all systems in the domain. Means each individual PC do not have any domain administrator. Each individual PC does not have any administrator. For example, user one login to PC one is a domain user but not a administrator. User one login, PC one. The user one cannot do any settings in the PC one. This is just a user. Any changes required, so it will be changes, or you want to do something like administrative work. So you have to take a permission from administrator or administrator password or administrator. With administrator account only, we can do it. So for all your 100 computers or 200 computers or 300 computers in the network, domain administrator account is a administrator for all systems in the domain for every user and domain. We can enforce various type of settings to a large number of users and computers in the, that is what I said. That is called a group policy. What is a group policy, guys? Enforce various type of settings to a large number of computers in the domain. Users, computers, groups, services, resources, information stored in a centralized system or centralized server called a Active Directory. A domain user can log into any domain computer. So who is a domain computer? The computer which joins in our domain computer, which is joined in the domain. Domain user means the user which we create in the domain controller is a domain user. So domain user can log into any domain computer until unless there is a enforcement, like this user cannot log into this particular PC kind of stuff. That is different point. In generally, any domain user can log into domain company. Centralized administration, centralized control called a domain controller, which is a server which contains information about user, group, computer, services, resources in the centralized server. So domain controller, domain administrator is administrator of all the systems in the domain. Any user in the, any domain user can log into any domain user can log into any domain computer. So we can enforce various settings, the large number of users and computers in the domain group. Okay guys, this is work group and domain. Guys understand domain?
Yes, sir.
It is my
Yes, sir.
yeah, very good. Thank you. So this is my PC in the work group. Okay, so that's it. I already I am on just before I given this part also, right? So this one I link already I shared. Okay, if you want, I will share it. I already shared, right? So, already shared in that one 45, 50 like that. Or you want to watch from starting also, you can watch like a skip, watch up to 40 minutes. Then from that one continuously watch it. Important of this one is not only theory based, also practical. I showed how to join into the domain and how to create a user, how to log in with user, including one sample group policy. Okay. I can show you now with directly with live practical. I can able to show the problem is my servers are very old servers. Their licenses there are in a this license model means evolution license. Those licenses are already expired. Those licenses are already expired. I don't know whether it is there or not. So if I open, my system will become slow down and again it is a license problem. So maybe, so that's why I'm not doing it. Anyway, you don't have any live practical. So what sir it is guys, this is the important, it is work group and domain. So you are in a domain, so the domain controller will give you the resource access, user access, endpoint. The second point here it is work group domain and also will explain the Active Directory. Yes, Active Directory is a very big one, but I am telling the work group directory with a very simple points. If you understand what is a domain, the domain will be created by Active Directory. Okay, so that is okay. So what is a domain? Of course, domain, work group, difference between domain and work group. We'll dealing with a work group is a decentralized administration. Domain is a centralized administration. Domain is a centralized administration. In work group, we don't have any centralized server to control our PCs. But in a domain, we have a centralized server that is called a domain controller will control our things, right? So in a work group, every PC has their own administrator, but in a domain, we have a centralized administrator. Every PC is logging with their own user account. So and they, okay, so and the one user cannot log into another PC. But in a domain environment, the users information stored in central server called a domain controller. All user information stored in domain controller. So this is a central server. Users in the domain controller can log in. Users in the domain can log into any PC in the domain. In workgroup, we can manage or control individually, not centrally. In domain, we administrate or control or manage centrally. We can enforce various type of settings to the large number of users and computers. The domain using group policies. In workgroup, we can go to each and individual PC to do the settings. Okay, that is the difference between workgroup and domain. So whatever, how much you can able to speak, guys, very important is, sir, this is a very big notes. How to tell this much of thing? We have to watch videos and we have to read lot of material. Then only we can able to speak answer. That is wrong, guys. Importance of giving an answer is practice answering. You practice whether it is a minimum answer or very big answer. Means it is a 5 line answer or a 10 line answer or 20 line answer or maybe it is a 3 line answer. You practice, you can able to present a much better way without shaking, without murmuring, without something kind of stuff, without doing any other thing. You can present like you know well better. So guys, that's a daily practice answering. Read it once, try to practice answering again. Try 2 3 times. Read once, speak 2 3 times. Again, if you are missing some point, read it again. Again, practice 2 3 times. So that will give you maximum like a speed of answer, guys. Whatever the interview it is, whether it is a home interview, it means it can be a mock interview kind of stuff. It can be a fresher interview, or it can be a very technically based interview or a communication based interview. Whatsoever it interview follows very simple formulas. Interview follows always very simple formula, guys. Interviewer ask a question. Interviewer will ask a question. You have to tell an answer. For example, I am an interviewer. You are a person, candidate. I am asked a question. You are telling an answer. That's the formula, right? You go into an interview. Interviewer will ask a question. You have to give an answer. Very simple. Next, how to give an answer. And answer is correct or wrong. Kind of stuff, right? So, one next point is, first point is, interviewer will ask a question. You have to give an answer. So, how to give an answer is clear answer. Clear cut answer, not murmuring, not lower voice, not confusing voice, unpreparedness. Some people say, I'm not prepared very well. Then why you came to interview? Didn't prepare for an interview, then why? So just to make a drama in interview, just to see whether interview is how it is interview is going on, right? That is the type of things. So unpreparedness. You may not prepare very well, you may not have not having all knowledge, but unpreparedness is not. Prepare well. First, preparation is most important, and presenting an answer with a clear. Okay, you practice answering, then only you can tell an answer clearly, confidently. Some people will give an idea whether you know, don't know, or even it is a wrong answer. Tell confidently. That is not 100% correct, guys. Not 100% correct. Important is to get a confidence. Practice answering. Practice answering. I'm not telling answer, no answer kind of stuff. Practice answering. How to practice that answer. How to give an answer. How to, the way of presentation. If way of presentation of answer is good, then it is automatically people think like you have a knowledge on it. You prepared well. I know I have a lot of knowledge. Suddenly I attend an interview. Okay. He asking a question and I am unable to, I am telling an answer with this that to next to like that I am telling an answer. That is shows unpreparedness. People think lack of knowledge. That is one point. Second point, confident but lie. Confident but not a correct answer. So I tell, do you know about a cloud? Yes, I know the cloud come. Recently, we have done cooking in a cloud kitchen. We order a food from cloud kitchen. That is very fantastic. What is his question? What is my answer? There is no relation. That is a cloud kitchen, and there is a cloud services, right? So, or a cloud storage. Yeah, I know the very well cloud. I store all my data in the cloud, sir. Cloud is always good. Cloud is robust. Cloud is scalable. So cloud having sometimes it is up and down, but it is very good, guys, sir. If I tell like this very confidence language does not contains any answer in it. Answer should have an answer. Simple. I say I ask a question like what is a Active Directory? Yes, sir. Active Directory is a very good technology. Nowadays we are all using a Active Directory. So it contains a lot of advanced features are there for a Active Directory. What is there? Where is an answer in it? Okay. What is the domain, sir? Domain is a very good one. Domain now we are India newly introduced the domain technology. Domain is a robust and very scalable. Okay, so in a market is it is a very highly demand technology, guys. So I like most of my friends learn the domain. So where is the domain? Domain is what is domain and what I'm telling. Understand, guys?
Yes, sir.
So compulsory. There is a question. There is an answer. Meaning is don't give a bakwas answer. Give the answer which
Correct answer.
contains an answer. Okay, contains the answer. So I'm telling very confidently what is wrong, but what other person will take, am I stupid or what? What he's talking, okay? That is not a good thing. But sometimes you can able to cover. That's the point is you can cover even if you are not confident about an answer or maybe you don't know the answer. Maybe you can try to cover it. That is okay sometimes. But important is practice answering. That is my first point. Okay. Where are we? Yeah, last one is guys. Here it is. What is domain? I put a domain and AD domain. What is the difference? No difference. But why I specify it as a domain? Because when we told to people domain and most of the people what they will do, whatever we told, whatever we are telling um, a definition, okay, so people will try in the Google only. So in a Google, we'll give different type of answers. It is a domain name is string that identify real name of administrative, anatomy, authority, or a control within the internet. Domain names are used in various network context and for a application specific naming and addressing purpose. In some places, four type of domains also there. Sir, a domain is a four. Okay, what is the meaning of domain? So there is a nothing one, not even a one Google answer is not equal to my domain question. Okay, of course these are also correct in a different places. Which domain? For example, you are working on a networking field. I ask what is your domain? Sir, my field is networking field. You are working in a cloud. What is your domain? My domain is cloud. What is your domain? My domain is IT development or IT deployment or only management or maybe a service ticketing related. So this is also a domain. So domain means group. A domain means exactly say grouping, similarity, grouping. Okay. So when you search for a domain, in English meaning is different, network meaning is different, one place to another place is different. That's why I said AD domain. Even if you whenever you want to search for a domain in this Active Directory domain, always search Active Directory domain. At least somewhat relevant answer you will get it. Logical group of objects that share common administration, security, replication settings. Active Directory domain, it IT terms define administrative boundary, manage set of devices, services, systems in centralized manner. See this? Somewhat related to the our domain. Okay. Windows domain is a form of compute network which all user accounts, computer, printer, other security principles as registered with a central database located one or more cluster of domain computers, something like it is also related. Okay. Point is, so instead of searching what is a domain, search what is Active Directory domain, AD domain. So you will get some relevant answer. Okay. So we have seen workgroup, domain. Now, what is AD domain? Is a logical administrative boundary of users and compute. It is this PC. For example, you can see this PC, this PC, this PC, this PC, this one, and this one. This one, including this one also in the same network. You can see all PCs are in the same network, but not all PCs are in the same domain, right? PC1, PC2, PC3, PC4, and the server, the domain. But PC5 is not in that domain. That's why it is physically all are connected, but logically it is separate. Logically it is different. Okay, and it is a administrative boundary, not only logical boundary. It is administrative boundary, logical administrative boundary. It means user 1 can able to log into PC1, PC2, PC3, PC4, but not PC5. I create a group policy. The group policy can be applied to PC1, PC2, PC3, PC4, but not on the PC5. So that's why it is logical administrative boundary of users and computers. Users and computers, resources and services also. Very simple. What is an Active Directory domain, or what is a domain? A logical administrative boundary of users and computers. Active Directory. What is an Active Directory then? So here 2 points in the Active Directory you have to tell very clearly. What is an Active Directory? Active Directory database stores identity of users, groups, computers, and services and resources information. So what is an Active Directory? Of course, Active Directory is a service, but it is a database. Maintain a database. Active Directory having a database stores identity of users, groups, computers, and resources information. It is a printer. It is my resource. C1, C2, C3, C4, C5 is my computers. I have users, user 1, user 2, user 3, the users. Okay. So stored in this Active Directory database. Name of the Active Directory database is NTDS.DIT. This is the database name. New Technology Directory Service Directory. So what is an Active Directory? Active Directory database store identity of users, computers, groups, services, and resources information. In case guys, if you are unable to tell very big line, at least tell user and computers. Okay. I said 2 points. This is the first one. The second one is Active Directory authenticates users. Okay, so Active Directory authenticate a user when they log into domain computer. Right? So when I am logging to the computer, Active Directory authenticate the user. Okay. So when I log into the computer, Active Directory authenticate users. Or we can say different ways. 2 point guys, Active Directory database and authentication. Active Directory having database and Active Directory do authentication. Active Directory stores users, computers, groups, service, resource information in the database. And whenever the users are try to log into the computers, in domain computers, or user are trying to log into the domain or a network to authenticate the users. Okay, so 2 points. The Active Directory database store authentication. In database, user, group, computer, and resource information store. The Active Directory authenticate users when they log into domain or a network. when they log into domain. Or a domain computer. Very easiest one. When user is, easy to remember, when user is log into domain computer, Active Directory authenticate user when they log into domain computer. User log into domain computer, domain controller authenticates user. Okay. That's the point. Okay. So Active Directory database name is NTDS.DIT, new technology directory service directory. And authentication protocol is Kerberos. So of course, user is authenticated by Active Directory, right? So which protocol? Authentication protocol called a Kerberos. And LDAP is also used when it is authentication. So when you are searching about a Active Directory in Google, so for example, you are searching what is Active Directory. So you'll get an answer. Windows Server enable administrator permission to access it, proprietary of Microsoft proprietary directory services. It is introduced in 2000. This kind of information. So that's why I added a 1 or 2 points there. You can see it is a Microsoft service. Active Directory concept is in Microsoft servers, not Linux or Windows. Sorry, not Linux or a Unix servers. It is a Windows server,
Only in Windows, sir.
only in Windows servers.
What is that Windows Server 2000? Like,
Yeah, Windows servers having a different editions. Like we have Windows 10, Windows 8, Windows 7, Windows
okay.
11. Same way, Windows servers, there are started with the Windows NT, 2000 server, 2003 server, 2008 server. Like that, we have a multiple editions, different type of servers are released. Like we have Windows 8, Windows 10, like that. How it is came, same way, those server operating systems are there. This Microsoft service, like this Active Directory is introduced. The word Active Directory is introduced in a 2000 server.
Okay.
The name is changed. Active Directory name changed to Active Directory Domain Services. Active Directory name changed to Active Domain Services in 2008 server. In 2008 server, so you don't find Active Directory. You will see Active Directory Domain Services. Why? Because of Active Directory. In this one, they split into 5 parts. 5 parts. Active Directory Domain Service, Active Directory Certification Service, Active Directory Right Management System RMS, Active Directory LDS, Active Directory Federation Service, 5 services. So we have a 5 services of Active Directories. One of the thing is our Active Directory Domain Services, which is nothing but a original Active Directory service. Okay, that's the name is changed. Earlier we have only Active Directory service. Don't have a federation certification services. In 2000 and 2003, servers having Active Directory, then it is become Active Directory Domain Service. Still Active Directory Domain Services. It's a Microsoft service, means it is in the Windows system, Windows servers on. So instead of telling this story in a Google and some certain slides, they are telling this Active Directory remaining part. So this is the called Kerberos. This Kerberos. Kerberos authentication protocol. Computer network authentication protocol works on the basis of tickets to allow nodes communicate over non-secure network to provide their identity over secure manner. Kerberos. The Kerberos symbol is three dog heads, three-headed dog. three-headed dogs. You can see this Kerberos, Harry Potter. This is the Kerberos. Spelling little bit different, but the Kerberos. In Harry Potter, first part only they want to go inside this chamber. So then this is the dog, the block their way. So you can watch the first part. Harry Potter. Okay. So that's it. Yeah, how I know that one? So I'm not a very intelligent. That time when I learn, we don't have YouTube videos also. We have YouTube, but we don't know much network and internet kind of stuff. Um, I started reading textbooks. Yeah, we have a textbooks, Microsoft textbooks. Time we have a good dedication. Now it is nothing. Yes, as I said, guys, servers are from 2000 and NT server 2000 server. Active Directory from 2000 server, Kerberos protocol from 2000 server, database from 2000 server. But what about NT? It is also there just for a touch purpose only, guys, not for a seriously. So Active Directory database is NTDS.DIT. In the NT time, use SAM database to store the users, groups, computer information. NTLM. NTLM means this is the authentication protocol. NT, new technology, LAN manager. New technology, LAN manager. It is mostly works based on a NetBIOS type, not FQDNs. That time it is only works NetBIOS kind of stuff. NetBIOS names only it is working. It works based on a NetBIOS names. Like a domain, not a .com kind of stuff, not a FQDNs kind of stuff, not. Okay. So this is at that time Windows NT time. SAM database name is SAM and authentication protocol is NTLM and works based on NT. Yeah. The small point I want to add here that is called a Azure AD. Azure AD. Azure. What is an Azure? Azure. What is an Azure? That is the spelling. Anyway, what is an Azure? Cloud computing platform from Microsoft. It's a like AWS, Google Cloud. Azure is a Microsoft public cloud platform. And you want to get a Active Directory services. You want to get a Active Directory services from Azure Cloud. So that is called a Active Directory Azure AD part. The cloud-based identity access management services. Okay. So there is a multiple ways to use this Active Directory Azure services. One is as a regular Active Directory part, or another one is to identify and log into different services. Simply say Azure is a Microsoft cloud platform and Active Directory AD is a means Active Directory. You are getting Active Directory services means identification of users, groups, computers kind of stuff, authenticating users. But okay, so Active Directory service from Azure Cloud. In general, when I said I will tell about a cloud part, this is I given, but that is your wish. Guys, today we started, right? This one. I may share this link to you. Hi, morning, 16 members. Very good. Oh, okay, I didn't share the PPTs. Okay, compulsory go for it. I didn't explain anything about a cloud here, guys. I have a separate cloud PPTs are there, but importance in the cloud, always see what is cloud, benefits of cloud, Okay, benefits of cloud. Benefits of cloud. And there is a third question is, as compared to on-premises data center to, or a traditional data center to the cloud. Advantage of cloud over the on-premises. Advantage of cloud over on-premises server or a data center. So that is, you can try. Next, service models, cloud service models, and cloud types. Actually, cloud types first, service models are next. Okay, cloud service providers with an example. Find out all these things. Have a free. Okay, guys, this is about your 1 second. I will give you once what is we have discussed: peer-to-peer, server and client, work group and domain, different type of servers based on their services, server operating systems, different servers like a tower server, blade server. What is the data center meaning? That's simple. Work group and domain. First of all, work group and domain. Difference between work group and domain. And what is a Active Directory? What is domain? What is a Active Directory? What is Azure AD? Just a sample. That's it. So of course there is a small point here. It is, what is authentication and authorization? What is authentication? So you put a username and password. You log into Gmail. You put a username and password. So what server will do? Server authenticate your username and password, right? So that is called authentication. Verification of identity, like username and password. Authorization means once verification is done, yes, you are allowed to access or not allowed to access. Okay, two things are there: allow, not allow, accessing permissions based on authorization. For example, I want to access printer, but I am authorized. My username password verified, I am authorized, but I am not able to access the printer because my name put it in a do not give a access permission to the printer. Okay, so authorization means access permissions, allow or deny authorization. That's the point, guys. That is